Waiter shocked to discover the black man he denied was actually his restaurant's owner. In the heart of the city, where the streets throbbed with life and laughter, Marcus stood behind the counter of his beloved restaurant, Midnight Eats. He felt the weight of aspirations and dreams bearing down on his shoulders like an anchor. Years of hard work, sweat, and tears had transformed this modest eatery into a beacon of hope for the community. Yet, as the annual neighborhood gala approached, the pressure mounted. He could almost hear the whispers, the intrusive thoughts that suggested he was nothing more than a cog in the machine of perception that gnawed at his spirit. The bustling ambience of the restaurant was intoxicating. The tantalizing aroma of southern fried chicken mingled with the freshness of collard greens cooking on the stove. Family photos adorned the walls, showcasing the diverse tapestry of lives touched by his food. It filled Marcus with pride, but also with a painful reminder of prejudice he faced over the years. He had poured his heart into this place, only to sometimes feel invisible, his achievements overshadowed by the biases of the world. Meanwhile, in the middle of the dinner rush, a young waiter named Jake darted around, focused on impressing his managers. The white-haired boy, barely 20, had also felt the fierce claws of financial hardship. He was trying hard to rise above his circumstances, scraping by with dreams of culinary greatness. Yet, as he caught a glimpse of Marcus, his brow furrowed, dismissively labeling him another busy employee. Little did he know, the man behind the counter held the keys to the restaurant he took for granted. Just as the tension in the air thickened, a crucial moment arrived. Jake accidentally spilled a drink while rushing past Marcus. Frustrated, he barked, "Watch it, man," in a tone riddled with impatience. At that moment, Marcus felt every wound of judgment slice deeper. It was not just the drink or the disrespect. It was a constant reminder of how society often looked right through him, oblivious to his dream and his sacrifices. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the gala loomed closer, Jake carried a weighty bundle of insecurities. Each day felt like climbing an insurmountable mountain, while Marcus braved storms of doubt and bias, secluded in his corner. In a pivotal shift, Marcus could no longer remain subdued. He confronted Jake in the kitchen after hours, tension bursting like the heat from the stove. "What's your deal?" Jake challenged, eyes narrowed, unaware of the storm he was about to ignite. "I'm just trying to explain how you don't see the bigger picture, kid," Marcus replied, his voice steady despite the anger bubbling within. The air crackled with unspoken truths, until suddenly, it was time for the gala. As community members gathered, anticipation buzzed in the air. The moment they faced each other on that stage, Jake with unpolished arrogance, Marcus with simmering resilience, the room quieted. Could they break the cycle of misunderstanding? Would empathy rise above ingrained prejudice? The future hung in balance, charged with tension, waiting for someone to take the leap toward connection. As hearts braced for an unexpected revelation about who truly held the keys to their destinies. As the lights dimmed and the murmurs of the audience settled into an expectant hush, Marcus and Jake stood just a few feet apart. The bright spotlights cast a golden hue on Marcus's face, revealing the traces of stress and determination etched on his skin. His heart raced, each thump echoing in his ears. This was at the moment to shatter the illusions, both his and Jake's. Jake shifted awkwardly, glancing at the audience and then back to Marcus. He swallowed hard, emotions wrestling within him. He dismissed the man before him without a second thought, and now, standing on the stage, he felt a heavy weight of shame pressing down on his chest. Would he be able to confront his own biases or cling to the comfort of ignorance? "Listen," Jake began, his voice shaky. I didn't know you were the owner. I just what?" Marcus interrupted, taking a step closer. "You just assumed I was just another worker?" Why? Because of the color of my skin? Because you thought you knew what I was worth? The question hung in the air, taut and electric. Around them, community members shifted uncomfortably, witnessing a moment of raw honesty unfold before their eyes. Jake struggled to find his words, realizing now how unfairly he had judged Marcus. He had seen the owner's face, but never truly saw him. I don't know, Jake finally admitted, his voice barely a whisper. Marcus's expression softened slightly. When I opened Midnight Eats, it was to create something that mattered, something where everyone could feel welcome and at home. But this place isn't just about the food. It's about the stories, the culture, the resilience. I've poured everything into it, yet people like you sometimes overlook that. The audience was captivated, sensing the shift. Marcus continued, each word a revelation that beckoned understanding. I've fought through every kind of prejudice, every doubt, just for a chance to be heard. My journey is not just mine alone. It's shared with everyone who has ever felt underestimated. Your invitation here tonight is a step toward bridging that gap. Slowly, Jake began to understand. With each revelation, a flicker of humanity ignited within him. I'm sorry, he said, finally finding the courage. I see you now. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I want to change. A palpable silence fell over the room, punctuated only by the distant clinking of cutlery. It was a moment of truth, an unexpected transformation that sparked something in the hearts of those present. The possibility of redemption hung in the air like a sweet aroma. Marcus took a deep breath, heart still racing, but for the first time in a long while, it was a rush of hope instead of despair. Acknowledging your mistakes is the first step. Let us work together to inspire others. We can make Midnight Eats a pillar of change, a place for learning. Audience members exchanged glances filled with gratitude and anticipation. They had come for a gala but were being gifted with the opportunity of connection, understanding, and growth. With the weight of expectation still looming over them, Marcus and Jake stood together, ready to embrace a new path, one filled with promise and collaboration. But just as they prepared to step forward, the doors swung open, and a figure stepped into the spotlight, a woman holding a clipboard, her face set with urgency. Excuse me, she interrupted, turning their attention. You need to see this immediately. There's something crucial we must discuss about the future of Midnight Eats. What new challenges awaited them on the horizon? Would their newfound understanding withstand the storm that was brewing ahead? The tension in the room thickened as the woman stepped forward, her clipboard clutched tightly in her hands. Marcus felt a knot tighten in his stomach, uncertainty creeping back in. His moment of revelation, so beautifully crafted just moments ago, now felt at risk of unraveling. Who are you? Jake asked, his voice shaking slightly, still riding the wave of his newfound understanding. Laura, she replied, urgency lacing her tone. I'm the event coordinator. We've got a serious situation that you both need to be aware of. Midnight Eats is under threat. A sinking feeling settled over both men as the audience's whispers morphed into a low hum, concern rippling through them. Marcus exchanged a glance with Jake, each of them feeling the gravity of the moment weigh heavily upon their shoulders. What do you mean, under threat? Marcus's voice was steady, but inside, a storm raged. Laura took a breath, her eyes darting from one to the other. There's been an offer to buy the restaurant. A big offer. She paused, gauging their reactions. But they want to change everything, your vision, your story, all of it. They don't care about the community. Marcus felt the cold grip of fear clutch at his heart. Midnight Eats wasn't just his business. It was his heart, his lifeline. Who made the offer? She hesitated again, her gaze fixated on the clipboard. Some real estate developers. They want to turn this place into a trendy cafe, cater to the city's elite. A wave of anger surged through Marcus. They have no idea what Midnight Eat stands for. This isn't just a restaurant. It's a community. It's where people come to share their lives, their stories. Jake's brows furrowed, his mind racing. How can we stop them? We need to fight this. Laura's shoulders dropped in defeat. That's the problem. They have money and power. But if you want to keep this place, you're going to need a plan. Gather your supporters. Show them the value of what you built here. Hope flickered on the edge of Marcus's mind. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone who had stepped through the door of Midnight Eats. Everyone who had felt welcomed like family. We can't let them take this away. We have to rally the community. Together, we can show them how important this place is. Jake nodded in agreement, a newfound resolve growing in him. I'll help you. I don't want to be part of the problem anymore. I want to be part of the solution. Marcus felt warmth bloom in his chest. A powerful connection formed in the forge of intensity and challenge. They had walked this stage in division, but now they stood united. Then let us get started. I want to create a campaign. We'll reach out to everyone who loves Midnight Eats. As they brainstormed, excitement slowly carved out the fear. Ideas flowed like the warm, inviting aromas wafting from the restaurant's kitchen. But Laura's face held a grim reminder of the odds stacked against them. Just remember, she said, this will not be easy. They can be ruthless. A collective breath held in the air as they faced the uncertainty together, and for a moment, hope felt more powerful than fear. But just as they began outlining their plans, a loud crash reverberated through the room, shattering the moment. The audience gasped, pivoting toward the source. What's happening? Marcus exclaimed, adrenaline surging through him. The doors slammed open again, revealing a group of strangers, their faces stern and menacing, stepping inside. What do you think you're doing here? One of them growled, eyes fixed on Marcus. In that heartbeat, the reality of their confrontation settled in. Would they stand firm against this unexpected threat? Or would the storm they feared finally break? The answer felt just beyond reach, hidden within the chaos looming ahead. The group of strangers moved deeper into the restaurant. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Marcus felt his throat tighten. They had barged in like they owned the place, and in some twisted way that was exactly what they wanted. Get out, Marcus said, his voice louder than intended. He didn't like the way these people looked at him, like he was something to be scraped away. A stubborn stain on their shiny vision of what Midnight Eats should become. Sorry, but we're here to talk business, another man said, his voice icy. He stepped forward, brandishing a glossy folder. The deal is on the table. You can take it or leave it. But if you decide to leave it, well, it may not be easy for you. Jake instinctively moved closer to Marcus, his fists clenched at his sides. We're not interested in selling out. Midnight Eats stands for something. You can't just walk in here and dictate terms. Laura stepped back, her eyes wide, as if witnessing a train wreck in slow motion. She was a moment away from imploding with stress. This isn't how negotiations usually happen, she murmured, but no one paid her any attention. Is that right? The man sneered. Well, you're not the one calling the shots here. We have the power to change everything, and that includes you. Marcus felt a surge of fury. This restaurant was not just a business. It was a part of him. You think you can just come in and take away everything we've built? You have no idea what this place means to the people who come here. The men exchanged glances, their expressions mocking. It was clear they viewed the locals as mere pawns in their game. I'll tell you what Midnight Eats means, one of the newcomers said. It means cheap food in a rundown building in a dying neighborhood. No one will shed a tear if it's gone. Marcus's heart pounded, his hands shaking slightly. Hadn't anyone taught them to respect history? To honor the faces behind the food? This isn't just about profit margins. This place is home. You can't bulldoze everything just because it doesn't fit your vision. Home? The man retorted, smirking. What a nice sentiment. But in the end, it comes down to who has the money. Jake took a deep breath, his fear slowly morphing into determination. But we have something you don't, he said, fixing his gaze on the intruders. We have people who will fight for this place. The murmurs from the audience flickered like flames reigniting in a hearth. They began shifting, inching closer to the front, their expressions firm. What's it going to be, guys? Marcus called out, the weight of leadership heavy on his shoulders. Are we going to let them take away the heart of our community? Or are we going to stand our ground? Laura's eyes sparked with urgency. If we can rally enough support, if we can show the community's love for Midnight Eats, maybe we can turn this around. It was then that Marcus felt something shift. It was a split second, but powerful. The strangers may have come in with bravado, but now they were met with a wall of unity. The heart of Midnight Eats beat fiercely, and its pulse was strong. The lead man scoffed, but for a brief moment, uncertainty flickered in his eyes. People will sell you out, just wait and see. Marcus leaned in, voice steady. Not this time. We're going to fight for what's right. With every word, he could feel the energy surge through the room, filling the cracks of fear with resilience. People began to move, readying themselves for the battle. They exchanged glances, nods of affirmation, and quiet, fierce determination blossomed. Let us get to work. We're going to make our voices heard, Marcus declared, adrenaline surging through his veins. But just as they began to strategize, a familiar voice broke through the crowd, cutting through the rising tension. Did someone say unity? A figure stepped forward, and Marcus froze in disbelief. Is that who I think it is? He whispered, the implications beginning to swirl in his mind. The crowd shifted, and for a moment, everything froze. Marcus's heart raced as he squinted through the tension-filled air. His breath caught. Standing there at the forefront of the intruders was someone he never expected to see: Becca. The same Becca who had left town years ago, chasing her dreams, now back in this fragile moment. She looked different, older, or perhaps it was the weight of experiences that had changed her. But that unmistakable fire in her eyes was still there. The flash of recognition seemed to light a spark. For a second, the looming threats faded. Was she here to help them, or had she come back to settle her own score? Becca? Marcus called out, disbelief and hope battling within him. What are you doing here? She smiled, the kind of smile that was more of a mask than a greeting. I'm here for the same reason you all are, to help. But the tightness in her voice spoke of a deeper conflict. The lead man from the other group narrowed his gaze. I'd advise you to step aside, Becca. This isn't your fight. Oh, but it is, she shot back, her confidence flaring. I may not have been here in the flesh, but I've never forgotten what this place stands for. Marcus felt a swell of emotion. Becca had always believed in the heart of Midnight Eats like he did. Whatever struggles had separated them faded in the face of this shared purpose. He stepped forward, determined to connect. So you want to help us rally the community? Her eyes softened with understanding. Exactly. But the man in the lead scoffed, waving the glossy folder like a weapon. That's cute. You think she can change anything? You're all clinging to nostalgia. This place is a relic, and together we can make a ton of money transforming it. The tension thickened once more. The passionate murmur from the crowd grew, but fear seeped back in. Would they really unite? Look around you, Becca exclaimed, her voice cutting through the doubts. These people are not just customers. They are family. Midnight Eats is their refuge, a tapestry woven from stories and lives. A ripple of agreement surged through the audience. Nods and murmurs of affirmation mixed with a rising tide of hope. The strangers could see that the community was not backing down. Jake clenched his fists tighter, ready to take a stand. Marcus felt the energy shift, the doubts melting away. It's not just about profit margins, he echoed, emboldened by the support. It's about what we've built together. The lead man shifted, irritation etching across his face. You really think they will risk everything for a faded diner? I know they will, Becca replied, her resolve hardening. We have something real here, something money can't touch. Just watch. As emotions ran high, Becca leaned in closer to Marcus, urgency flashing in her eyes. But we need a plan. They'll come at us hard if we don't show them we're serious. A collective determination enveloped them. Let us organize a rally. Show everyone how much Midnight Eats means to this community, Marcus suggested, adrenaline pumping through him. We'll get people to share their stories. Videos, photos, anything to make them feel how special this place is. The group began to murmur, discussing ideas as spirits lifted. Hope met action, and before long they were brainstorming like a well-oiled machine. Remember our slogan? Laura piped in suddenly. Every dish tells a story. Let us make sure their stories are heard. The strangers stepped back, uncertainty creeping into their expressions. Suddenly, they weren't in control anymore. They didn't expect the camaraderie. Didn't expect the heart of Midnight Eats to surge to life. Let us do this, Becca said, her eyes shining with conviction. Just then, the lead man, realizing he was losing the battle, threw the folder on the table with a crash. You think you can win against our resources? You have no idea what you're up against. The atmosphere pulsed with defiance. The roar of unity filled the restaurant. But Marcus knew, deep down, this was only the beginning. As the rallying cry echoed through the space, a rattle of doubt lingered. Would their passion be enough to turn the tide? Or were they simply prolonging the inevitable? Their next moves would be crucial, and it all hinged on one question that loomed heavy in the air. What would happen when the real fight began? The clamor in the room swallowed up Marcus's thoughts, a tidal wave of emotion crashing over him. He glanced around, soaking in the faces of those he'd grown up with, now displaying a fierce resolve he'd never expected to see. They all stood together, ready to defend more than just a diner. This was about home. This was about belonging. Marcus met Becca's gaze, and an electric current passed between them in understanding. They both knew this was just the tip of the iceberg. They might have rallied the troops, but a real battle was on the horizon, and they had to outmaneuver the lead man and his crew if they wanted to save Midnight Eats. Okay, folks, we need to get organized, Marcus said, his voice strong despite the tremor in his heart. We can share our stories online. We'll catch the attention of local news, maybe even social media influencers who value community over corporations. Becca's eyes sparkled with excitement. And let us not forget our food. Every dish has a story, and we can share the recipes too. This isn't merely a fight to keep the doors open. It's a celebration of our culture and history. Jake, still clenching his fists, spoke up. And we can plan a community cook-off. Everyone can bring their original dishes, showcasing what this place means to them. That's brilliant, Becca exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. Murmurs of agreement spread through the crowd as they felt the hope ignite like a flickering flame fanned by gusts of fresh air. Suddenly, the lead man smirked, a sly satisfaction creeping into his voice. You really think a cook-off and some sad stories can change anything? Our marketing is ready. We'll make this diner obsolete, and you'll be left with nothing but memories. The room felt tense again, the walls closing in on the spirited group. Marcus took a deep breath, grounding himself. We are not just memories, he declared. We are living, breathing stories that deserve to be shared. Each of us has built something here, and we would fight tooth and nail to protect it. The determination was palpable. Eyes locked with his, Becca nodded, a soft smile tugging at her lips. They were not alone anymore. They were a united force. Let us meet tonight to strategize, Becca suggested. We can outline what we want to achieve and how we'll showcase the heart of Midnight Eats. The crowd buzzed with a renewed sense of purpose, but beneath this excitement lingered a deep undercurrent of fear. As they began to disperse and make plans, Marcus's heart thudded in his chest. Was this enough? They could unite against the outside threats, but what if their greatest enemy lay within? Marcus's gaze drifted back to the lead man, who now stood aloof, arms crossed and a smug grin plastered on his face. What schemes was he concocting behind that casual facade? Becca caught Marcus's eye at that moment, sensing the weight of his thoughts. We've come too far to let them intimidate us. We'll show them what we're made of, she whispered. And yet, even as resolve filled the room, a small voice in Marcus's mind hesitated. He clung to Becca's hand, feeling her steady pulse of hope. They had a plan, but would it be enough to face the cruel reality waiting for them in the shadows? As the night deepened, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that the upcoming rally would either lift them or break them. With heavy hearts, they dispersed into the warmer embrace of the night, their determination tangling with fear of the unknown. Yet, one question lingered in the air like a stubborn fog. Were they truly ready for the battle ahead, especially now that they had a worthy adversary in the shadows? The hum of expectancy filled the air as twilight wrapped its arms around the town. Marcus walked alongside Becca, the comfort of her presence softening the anxiety swirling in his chest. The streetlights flickered to life, shimmering like stars eager to join the fight. Marcus felt an urgency to act. They had only a few days until everything would be on the line. When they reached Becca's porch, she turned to him, her face shadowed and serious. "What if it's not enough? What if they come for us before we're ready?" Her words clawed at his resolve. "We have to believe in what we're doing. We all have stories. We can't let them drown us in their silence." She nodded slowly, though doubt lingered. What if sharing our stories only feeds their fire? Before Marcus could reply, Jake joined them, his voice loud and defiant. "I've spread the word for the cook-off. Everyone is excited to be part of it. It's time to show them we're more than just a diner." Both he and Becca exchanged a supportive smile, but the tension thickened the air. "Marcus," a voice called from down the street. It was Carla, her hair glowing in the golden light. "Have you seen how many people are backing us? The support is growing. It feels like a tidal wave." Grateful relief washed over Marcus as Carla's grin spread contagiously. "It's not just about the diner anymore. It's about everything we stand for. Our identity, our community. What if that's what they're scared of?" Jake chimed in. "They're not just attacking a diner. They're attacking what we represent. Their greed opposes our hearts." "Then we need to stand our ground," Marcus replied firmly. "We're not just fighting for a building, but for our right to exist as we are." Under the glow of the porch light, they brainstormed fresh ideas, their plans blossoming into a vibrant tapestry of culture and unity. However, as they spoke, Marcus couldn't shake the unease nagging at him. The lead man loomed in his thoughts like a dark cloud, always present. Later that night, Marcus lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The minutes ticked by like hours as his mind raced with the goal to save midnight eats. A sudden thought struck: what if he could dig deeper, uncover more about the lead man's plans? Flipping his pillow over, Marcus determined he would need to get inside, understand the opponent better. He suddenly recalled his old friend Mike, who worked part-time at one of the man's other restaurants. Maybe Mike could share something, some insight that could help turn the tides in their favor. Restless and energizing, he reached for his phone as Marcus punched in Mike's number. A sense of purpose flooded through him. The conversation flowed easily. Mike was excited to help and promised to meet with him the next day. The night's silence was pierced by the ringing of his phone, abrupt and harsh. Becca's name lit up the screen, her voice shaky. "Marcus, I just saw something. Something about the lead man. They may have a plan to move faster than we expected." His stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "I think we have to move now before they make their next move." The urgency spun around him like a whirlwind. Would their plan be ready in time? Could they outsmart an opponent who had problem after problem behind his deceitful grin? A race against time, Marcus thought, adrenaline pulsing through him. Could they really pull this off? As these questions consumed him, one thing was clear: this wasn't just a fight for a diner. This was a fight for their very way of life. And the battle? It was only just beginning. The morning sun poured into Marcus's room, illuminating the scattered notes and ideas he had written the night before. Each page was filled with thoughts, sketches of plans, and hopes for the upcoming cook-off. But something felt different today. The urgency from last night still lingered, heavy and palpable. As he got dressed, he thought about Becca's shaky voice. She was right. They didn't have time to waste. The lead man was lurking, and every second spent debating or waiting was one more second for him to strike. Marcus felt a mix of determination and dread churning in his stomach. He grabbed a quick breakfast, just a piece of toast, and raced out the door, ready to meet Mike. The crisp morning air hit his face, sharp and refreshing, fueling his thoughts as he walked. He pictured the diner, its bright red sign shining like a beacon, surrounded by a community that believed in it. When he arrived at Mike's workplace, he hesitated for a moment outside the door. Would Mike be willing to share what he knew about the lead man? Would he risk his job? Taking a deep breath, Marcus pushed the door open, A whirl of sounds enveloped him, the sizzle of the grill, laughter from the kitchen, and the clanging of silverware. Mike was at the counter, chatting with a couple of customers. When he spotted Marcus, a wide smile broke out across his face. "Hey man, what's up? Do you have a minute?" Marcus asked, trying to keep his tone casual despite the urgency swelling inside him. "Sure, let us step outside." Mike led him to the back alley, away from prying ears. "Listen," Marcus began, his voice low. "I need your help. I've heard the lead man is planning something. I thought you might know something from the inside." Mike's expression shifted. The easygoing smile faltered. "He's not exactly someone you want to poke around. It's risky." "I know," Marcus replied, desperation creeping into his voice. "But we're fighting for the diner, for our community. I need to know what he's up to before it's too late." After a moment's hesitation, Mike sighed, glancing around as if the shadows themselves might be listening. "Okay, I've heard whispers that he's planning to buy out some local properties. It's more extensive than just the diner. He wants to develop the entire block." Marcus's heart raced. What about the stories we're sharing? The cook-off? The community support? That's just the thing. He won't move against the diner directly until he knows he can win. He'll wait until people are distracted. Cook-off is easy to dismiss. He's counting on that. Panic flooded through Marcus, tight and constrictive. "So he's playing a strategic game. We need to act fast. We can't let them minimize us." Mike continued cautiously. "If you go against him, be sure you're prepared for a fight. He doesn't just take losses lightly." "I know," Marcus said, determination hardening in his voice. "But I'm not backing down. Not now." As he stepped back into the sunlit street, his mind raced. They would need a strong show of unity, resilience, and hope. He had to get back to Becca, Jake, Carla, everyone. They needed a strategy, and fast. But as he walked away, a knot of worry tightened his chest. How could they possibly rally the community when a storm was brewing just below the surface? He glanced back at the diner, the warmth of its familiarity only intensifying the urgency. What if their fight was about to become more dangerous than they anticipated? That thought hung in the air, cold and heavy. Time was running out, and they needed to act before the lead man made his move. Arriving back at the porch where they often gathered, Marcus could feel the tension crackling. A storm was certainly brewing. Would they be ready when it hit? Marcus stepped onto the porch, heart racing like it was sprinting to catch the last train of the day. He found the familiar faces of his friends already seated, wrapped up in conversation. Becca and Jake were leaning forward, their expressions serious, while Carla stood nearby, chewing her lip anxiously. They could sense something was amiss. "Hey, everyone," Marcus greeted, though his voice felt strained under the weight of what he needed to share. "Hey, Marcus, what's up?" Becca's brow was furrowed, an unspoken understanding passing between them. They all knew it was more than just a casual meeting today. "Can we talk? It's important." He could feel the urgency in his voice, pressing heavily on his chest, almost too much to bear. They nodded, and he gestured for them to gather closer as they formed a small circle. Marcus shared what he learned from Mike. He spoke about the lead man's intentions, his sinister plans to buy out the properties around the diner. Each word felt like a stone thrown into a still pond, sending ripples of shock across their faces. "Are you serious?" Carla's voice trembled slightly. "He can't do that. We won't let him, right?" Jake chimed in, fists clenching. "But how do we stop him? This isn't just about the diner anymore. It's about our homes, our lives. We need to act fast," Marcus insisted. "We can't let him catch us off guard. We have to stay united. Show the community we won't be pushed out." Becca nodded firmly. "What's the plan? We can't just sit here waiting for him to make a move. Right now, we need awareness. We'll start spreading the word about the cook-off, but not just as a competition. It'll be a rallying point. We need to draw in the community. Show them what's at stake," Marcus explained, his pulse quickening as ideas flowed. "Let us make it a bigger event. Food stands, games, and testimonies from everyone who's involved. People need to remember what's South special about this place. The group murmured in agreement, excitement rising among them. But beneath it, Marcus could sense the anxiety simmering. He had no idea how unyielding the lead man would be or just how far he would go. "I'll start making calls," Carla said, determination lighting up her eyes. "We can organize volunteers to set up everything. Count me in for helping with the food," Jake added. "I can reach out to a few local suppliers, get them on board. I'll handle the flyers and social media," Becca volunteered. "If we can get the word out, we might just have a chance." As they exchanged roles and responsibilities, Marcus felt something steadying within him. This was their chance to fight back. The weight on his shoulders felt lighter now, the connection between them growing stronger. But even as hope bubbled up inside him, a shadow loomed in the back of his mind. The lead man was still out there, watching, waiting. A sudden chill ran down his spine as he realized how unprepared they might still be for what was to come. "Just promise me no one acts recklessly. We're in this together," Marcus said, locking eyes with each of them. "No matter the cost, we fight as a team." With determined spirits, they dispersed, each to their tasks, hearts pumping with a mix of hope and fear. As Marcus stepped away from the porch, he looked back at the diner, its familiar red sign standing defiantly against the skyline. Will they be strong enough to face the darkness ahead? What if the lead man strikes first, leaving them with nothing but ashes? The sun dipped low in the sky as the day of the cook-off dawned, vibrant and alive. Marcus stood outside Midnight Eats, the air buzzing with energy and the aroma of spices wafting from the kitchen. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, and laughter danced among the crowd gathering in anticipation. Today wasn't just about food. It was a declaration, a testament to resilience, and a celebration of community. As people filled the streets, Marcus glanced around, feeling the weight of every face that had walked through those doors. He spotted Becca arranging tables, Jake engrossed in greeting attendees, and Carla moving through the crowd with flyers in hand. A fierce pride swelled in his chest. They were ready. Their hard work had paid off, and the fight against the looming threat felt within reach. Amidst the excitement, a tension lingered in the air, barely disguised by the festivities around them. The lead man was still out there, watching, planning. Marcus couldn't shake that underlying fear, but today was about courage, and he refused to let doubt silence their voices as the cook-off commenced. Local chefs brought forth their best dishes, each representing their stories carved into the fabric of Midnight Eats. The vibrant array of flavors showcased the rich culture of the community, connecting everyone in shared history and pride. People laughed, exchanged recipes, and gave hugs. Then, as the smell of fried chicken blended with roasted veggies, the crowd fell silent. Marcus took a deep breath, stepping up to the makeshift stage that had been set up near the entrance. All eyes turned toward him, hope shimmering in their gazes. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "Today isn't just about food. This cook-off represents our community, our strength, and our love for Midnight Eats. It's about fighting back and finding our identity in the face of uncertainty." Nods of agreement rippled through the audience. "I know many of you have stories tied to this place, the laughter, the tears, the moments of connection. Midnight Eats is our home, where we belong, and we won't let anyone take that away from us." Cheers erupted, the energy intensifying, carrying Marcus's unwavering determination. He gestured toward the vibrant crowd. "This isn't just my fight. It's our fight. Each of you matters. Each of your stories matters." In that moment, a beautiful cacophony of voices rose, nodding and chanting as community members embraced one another. The unity they had built surged to the surface, palpable and real. It was more than a restaurant. It was family. Suddenly, a sharp voice cut through the joyful chaos. The lead man stepped into view, flanked by his associates, a smirk plastered on his face. "Is this really what you call a protest?" His icy tone clashed with the warmth of the gathering. "A cook-off with some stories? How quaint." The crowd stiffened. Giancarlo Mauro, the lead man, exuded confidence. Marcus stepped down from the stage, every ounce of fear igniting into a fierce resolve. You should be careful underestimating us, Giovanni. You may see a diner, but we see years of hard work, history, and love. Love doesn't pay the bills, he sneered, stepping closer. I'd hate for you to lose more than just this place when we take it from you. The crowd gasped, a murmur of disbelief trailing through them. But then, Becca stepped forward, resolute and fearless beside Marcus. You may have money and power, but we have something you lack: community. You can't put a price on that. The audience's mood shifted, rallying around them. The once timid whispers turned into shouts of defiance. Carla motioned to the local news team ready to cover the event. We'll show everyone the heart of Midnight Eats. Then let us see how much your money is worth. Giovanni noticed the shift, his smirk faltering. The truth was undeniable: he had awakened something inside this community. They were no longer willing to be pushed around. As people shared their stories on stage about moments spent at Midnight Eats, how it had lifted spirits and offered warmth, Marcus felt hope simmering and igniting within him. Let us tell our stories, Jake shouted, rallying everyone. Let us bind our hearts together. Midnight Eats is a sanctuary, a family. Around them, the walls of doubt crumbled in the face of unity, laughter mingling with encouraging shouts. They were building something solid against Giovanni's cold arrogance. Staring into the depths of the lead man's eyes, Marcus felt a rush of strength. We will not be silenced. We will not back down. You are welcome to try and take away our spirit, but it would be your greatest mistake. Giovanni looked around, sweat beading on his forehead. The once confident demeanor had faded. You don't scare me, he shot back, shaking. Orchestrated by countless voices proclaiming their love for Midnight Eats, the crowd surged behind Marcus and Becca. Their stories began intertwining, creating a fortress of unity. Let this day mark a turning point, Marcus said, his voice loud and powerful. Together we're not just fighting for a restaurant, but for a home, our sanctuary. A place where community thrives. They roared their agreement, shaken by the power that filled the air. As the tense atmosphere began to fade, hope surged forward, igniting their bond. Completely outnumbered, Giovanni hesitated, frustration washing over him. The crowd pressed closer, shields formed of history and trust. He realized he had underestimated the depth of their connection, the fire that burned in their hearts. And then, something shifted. Giovanni took a step back, half turning toward his associates. We'll take this to the board. You haven't seen the last of us, he grunted before storming away. His pride wounded. A triumphant cheer erupted through the crowd, reinforcing the vibrant bond they had forged. Tears welled in Marcus's eyes as relief washed over him, a cascade of every challenge they faced. They had defied isolation, standing firm together. The cook-off flourished, but it was just the beginning of their journey. Midnight Eats would stand, not just as a restaurant, but as a sanctuary bound by every shared story. It was a heart within a community, undeterred by the threats that loomed beyond. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, a new day dawned, one where unity reigned and stories held power. This was the moment that changed everything. Don't wait not even one more second to share this story. You need to subscribe now and become part of our journey as we continue to uplift communities like this one. Leave a like right now to fuel the algorithm and spread this message of hope. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this transformation below. We love hearing from you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspirational change. Together we can make a world of difference.